She posted that other one that we put on about Yolanda, that Yolanda, my client Yolanda Brammer, needs to off herself.
Evictions for now. So we've got Yolanda Brammer versus Heather Godwin on an indigency contest. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Akhtar, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who are you here on behalf of?
I'm representing Yolanda Brammer, the landlord who successfully
Mhm.
got the default judgment of eviction.
Right, let me pull that case up. Okay, hold on. I've got a copy of the judgment right here. Yes, it was a default judgment for $12,228. Is Miss Goodwin here?
I am, yes.
Okay, you had filed an affidavit of indigency with regard to the appellate bond.
Yes, Your
And uh the plaintiff entered a contest to that.
Honor.
And so that's the hearing today is with regard to contesting the affidavit of indigency.
Yes.
Let me find the case here. It appears that the judgment was entered on September 30th for $12,028 plus possession. And it was a default judgment because the defendant did not appear. But you went ahead and put the 1 month's rent into the registry of the court. And then you filed an affidavit of indigency with regard to the appeal bond, which is going to be close to $25,000, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe the appeal bond is 4,100, 2 months rent.
Oh, they just put 2 months rent. That's right. This is an eviction case. So it's 2 months rent. So, the rental is right. So the appeal bond would be twice the rent. So it's $4,100. Okay. Okay. Initially, the affidavit was granted, but then Judge Holmes pulled it down when they entered the contesting it. Okay. Let me swear everybody in. Do each of you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Uh, did you want to present anything in addition to the affidavit, Ms. Godwin, in your in support?
Sure.
Okay, go
I,
ahead.
let's see. Um, I have an exhibit that I sent the court. Do you have that exhibit in an email? Exhibit
When
T1.
did you send it? When did you send it?
I sent it last night.
Okay, we would not have gotten through it to get to here. It goes in the general email. So
Okay, so let me pull that up in my computer, and I'll show you my bank statements.
can you let her share the screen, Miss Monique?
She should have access. I didn't. There we go. Yep.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Um, Here we've got my declaration. The total available in my bank is less than 200. It's 197.77.
Uh-huh.
Also, I need to amend my affidavit or just add through this testimony that the $600 a month that I was receiving from attorney's fees due me, that were being paid on a monthly basis. That is now $300 because one of those debtors had an accounts receivable account open with him where he was due to pay me about $3,500 more in fees at $300 a month. And on October 8th, I sold that out for $1,200 cash in order to put the rent into the registry.
Mhm.
Um, so that is a reduction in my monthly income.
Mhm.
Uh, and I do have a Rule 11 agreement that I could show the court if the court would like, but
I can take your word on it.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'll just take a quick look at my banking. This is my PNC bank account activity overview. And you see here in my current bank account that I use, it's a 9-1. I have an available balance of $8.79. What's interesting is that this second account, it is a bank account that I abandoned in 2022 when I left my previous employer. And PNC is also the bank that my previous employer uses. And I was getting hit with so many overdraft fees that I just kind of took whatever funds were out of that bank account and I moved to Horizon. And so when I went back to PNC, just because it was convenient to this bank account was there. And it's been there since 2022. And I asked them, they're like, oh no, you don't have to pay it. You don't have to pay it. It'll just fall off. And now in retrospect, I'm wondering why hasn't it fallen off since 2022? And I kind of think that it's because, well, never mind. But anyway, that is not a functioning account. It does not have $1,900 in it. It actually has an available balance of negative 8839. And I'm just waiting for the bank to let that fall off, which I don't think it really ever will. I think it's a signal to other financial institutions not to grant me credit. This is my Horizon business checking account. I have a available balance in it of $186, $187. So that, in addition to PNC, leads me to the 190.
Okay. All right.
And there's the Rule 11 agreement
Mhm.
with where I went ahead and sold that debt back to the client. I'm back to the opponent. So I'm poor. I can't afford the 4,100. If I could afford my rent, I would have been paying the rent, but
Mhm.
so I need to appeal. I'm also filing, I found out about just appeared on my phone a retaliation case that had been granted, even though the plaintiff bringing the case was delinquent. So I'm going to file that retaliation case and hope that the county court can abate and deal with those cases. Concur, I don't know. I don't know what the procedure is, but and I'm also appealing the dismissal of the trafficking suit 4818 in the district court, which I'm sure Mr. Akhtar is going to discuss at length. Although it's irrelevant, I'm going to go ahead and proactively object. But I just wanted to let you know, yes, I'm poor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Uh, did you want to present evidence or question anything, Mr. Akhtar?
Yes, Your Honor, we have some evidence to present in the form of Ms. Godwin's own filings
Mm-hmm.
and a number of other posts and things she's done, which I think seriously impeach and undermine her credibility in this indigency claim. So
Okay.
let me go ahead and start by sharing my screen. I'd like to start by pointing out, and I hope that's the right size. It's interesting that even after the eviction was granted, Ms. Godwin evidently decided to file a first amended answer and plea an abatement and motion to dismiss. Ms. Godwin is a licensed Texas attorney, which the court, I'm sure, is already aware of. So she filed this after the eviction was already granted, and again claimed that the
Is this
indigency hearing should not go ahead. Miss Godwin,
objection, Your Honor?
Miss Godwin, I did not interrupt you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
In this pleading, again, she makes bizarre claims like in the filing of her affidavit of inability to pay, the e-filing site was a honeypot that was trying to capture her information or whatever. That's fine. That's not terribly relevant, but this is relevant. Miss Godwin herself claims, as I've highlighted here, that she's such a busy family law attorney with such a busy active practice that the 20 hours that she prepared in order to fight this eviction case was valuable time that she could have spent preparing for trial in all her other busy family law cases, and that time was wasted in defense of this, quote, meritless suit. This meritless suit that, of course, she lost and she didn't even bother to show up for. That's important because, again, I'm going to show her sort of pattern of abuse of the system and her multiple bizarre and contradictory filings. So here she is.
Counsel, if she files crazy filings, what has that got to do with how much money she's got?
Well, so in this one, she claims that she's a busy family law attorney with many active cases. Now, it's also worth noting in the second exhibit that we sent the court that the reason that she could not make it to the first setting on this indigency hearing is because she was set as attorney in another case. So again, she files under oath that the reason she couldn't make the October 10th setting and it had to be continued to today was, again, she was an attorney of record in another family law case. So again, that seems to go along with her claim that, yes, she's a busy family law attorney. Then, if we look at her affidavit of indigency itself, I have to point out that it states that she makes zero money. Not a few hundred, not a few thousand, but if we go to the actual affidavit itself, she says, I'm sorry, I need to get to the part. Yeah, here we go. My take-home pay is zero in monthly wages. That cannot be true. That cannot be true if what she has filed under oath in other cases is that she's a busy, active family law attorney with busy cases and deserves to be paid all the fees that she had to lose out on because of defending in this eviction case. I'd also like to point out that the amount of contempt that she's showing for this court and the amount of gamesmanship is relevant here because the eviction was granted by default because, as you can see here, she posted later on Facebook after not showing up for the jury trial that she demanded. And the jury trial, again, was her attempt at kind of pushing off the eviction trial because, of course, it pushed it off another 2 weeks. She did not even bother to show up for the jury trial, so she wasted the court and the jury's time. And here she admitted there really is no defense in Justice of the Peace Court for me. She finally admitted that, but then again, she later turns around and says this was a meritless case that she had to defend against, and that's why she deserves to be paid thousands of dollars in attorney's fees. It is just a pattern of serious impeachment of her credibility. I also have to point out a couple of other things. She sent me emails which are relevant to this whole issue of credibility and her meeting her burden about whether she's got money or not. Here, she points out that my client trying to evict her is, quote, like all the other landlords did when I resisted. This is her MO. She's got some conspiracy theory going on that everybody's out to video surveil her and traffic her nude videos on the internet, and that every landlord and every home that she's ever lived in, they're all participating in this conspiracy. I also have to point out another email in which she has threatened to go ahead and add me to this federal suit for trafficking. If she's so indigent and she doesn't have any money, how does she have the money to file all kinds of suits in JP, in county, in Travis District, and even in U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas, as I will show, Your Honor. So here she is threatening to sue me and add me to the federal suit for trafficking, claiming that somehow I'm now part of this conspiracy to hack her computer and video surveil her. This licensed Texas attorney, after my client successfully got the eviction, is actually posting on Facebook that my client needs to off herself. This is how a licensed Texas attorney is behaving.
Is he offering these exhibits or is he actually arguing the exhibits?
I've offered the exhibits and I'm summarizing them for the court. As far as the case that she's
I'm
filed in
objecting
district
to
court,
the exhibits.
as far as excuse me?
Is the objection to the exhibit, Ms. Godwin?
They're irrelevant.
Response?
Again, I'm showing all of these as relevance to her lack of credibility and impeaching her claims that she's got no money.
They're irrelevant to the fact that I have no money.
Overruled.
Thank you. And then as far as the district court case that she mentioned, I kid you not, I can't make this up, Your Honor. After my client filed the eviction case in JP court, Ms. Godwin rushed off to district court and filed a $20 million lawsuit against my client, again, claiming that she's part of a global video trafficking conspiracy to surveil her and sexually exploit her. The claim was so ridiculous that we went to hearing on it. Judge Meacham in district court awarded my client back her attorney's fees plus $1,000 in Rule 13 sanctions. So again, if we're talking about meritless cases and Ms. Godwin dares to use the term meritless lawsuit, this should tell you, Your Honor, what kind of pattern of lawsuit abuse that Ms. Godwin engages in. I will next point out, and again, I just want to make this very short and simple. I know this case has a very tortured history. Ms. Godwin has done this again in U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas, and she's gotten cases dismissed there for filing the exact same types of pleadings against other landlords and other attorneys who represent those other landlords. This was one that got dismissed back in May of this year. This is something she filed in federal court against the Parks on Brody Lane, which is another former landlord of hers, and Forrest Cook, an attorney. She also decided to file against Facebook, now known as Meta. And it was, again, based on all the same bizarre video surveillance conspiracy claims. And at the end, I just want to show the court the highlighted language that court warned her from filing and pursuing further frivolous lawsuits. But that has not deterred her in the slightest. She continues to do it. She is a menace to the judicial system. Now, as to her claim of indigency, I don't think people who are indigent, Your Honor, go get Botox treatment and Botox injections and post about it on their Facebook page.
Your Honor, that Botox I got in 2012. It says here from the Botox, scar tissue from the Botox. That is, I have scar tissue from Botox that I received over a decade ago in my forehead, and I cannot, and I'm doing
Okay,
a
I'll give Ms. Godwin, I'll definitely give you a chance to respond, but I'm just going ahead and I'm submitting these. This was posted within the past
irrelevant.
week.
You'll have a chance to respond in a minute, Ms. Godwin.
Thank you.
So I can, she said irrelevant. I contend that that's more than relevant to showing the money that she has and the money that she's spending.
Counsel, do you know when that picture was taken or when that posting was made?
Yes, that posting was in the past week. All of these postings that I'm showing you are just within the past week. Another one. People who are indigent and broke don't go out to eat oysters, Your Honor. Oysters, one of the most expensive foods you can go out to eat, and then post a food critic style review of the amount of Parmesan cheese that was on them, whether they were lukewarm and hard, how buttery they were, or whatever other nonsense that she's posting. People who are indigent and broke are eating grilled cheese and vegetable soup at home from the grocery store, or if they're going out to eat, they're going out to eat very inexpensive fast food if they have to. They don't go out to eat oysters and then post about it. And I don't know whether this is relevant or not, but she's continually posting things which are very threatening to my client. She posted that other one that we put on about Yolanda, that Yolanda, my client, Yolanda Brammer, needs to off herself.
I did not post that she needs to off herself. I believe that karma is going to come around to this woman. I don't know.
You'll have a chance to respond in just a minute.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So I've shown all the exhibits I need to show, Your Honor, except I will mention that even Ms. Godwin herself mentions that she's not done. Oh boy, she's definitely got more lawsuits on the horizon for us. In her email where she sent her D1 exhibit yesterday, she once again says that she's going to be coming after my client again in a forthcoming federal trafficking suit that I will file once I flee the state. This woman is a menace to the judicial system. She seems to have all kinds of money to file lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit and judicially harass and extort people, yet somehow she doesn't have money to come up with an appeal bond. She filed an affidavit of indigency, which said she had zero money coming in, which we know has to be false if she's also filing under oath that she is a busy family law attorney with active practice of many, many cases, and goes out to eat oysters, does Botox, and has more lawsuits planned on the horizon. It's truly amazing. And let me point out that if she filed the affidavit of indigency and claimed that she had zero money coming in, that was weeks ago. How did she all of a sudden come up with $2,050 to finally pay rent? Please understand, she has not paid rent for 4 months, June, July, August, and September. Now, finally, she goes ahead and she pays 1 month's rent, $2,050. Where did that come from if she says she has absolutely zero money? If she can pay 1 month's rent, she can certainly pay 2 months' rent for an appeal bond. I'm not saying she doesn't have the right to appeal, Your Honor. I'm simply saying that if she's going to appeal, she darn well needs to pay her appeal bond, because my client needs to have some surety of finally getting some money and being rid of this deadbeat who hasn't paid rent for 4 months and who does nothing but file lawsuits all day long against anyone and everyone. It's appalling.
You want to respond, Ms. President?
Yeah, I did have a trial on October 10th. It was a pro bono case that I took, and I expected attorney's fees out of it because it was an enforcement. However, facts arose at trial that turned those tables, and I did not receive any attorney's fees. And after that trial, I did go out with the client who needed a drink. So we did go out. I have been piecemeal getting money out of selling my possessions. It's very, very slow. I got extension. My utilities have doubled because of the crack in the foundation here. I was able to get extensions on the electricity bill, which is now $400 a month. And it used to be about 180 because of the water leakage down into the ground. And that my Texas, so that's not due until the end of November. I was able to get an extension on the gas until the end of this week. That gas bill is twice as high because of a break in the gas line. I had Texas Gas Service come out, and I had told Miss Brammer back in July of this year that the foundation was shifting, and she didn't do anything about it. And now we've got
On that issue, I have to object. Repair and remedy is irrelevant.
It goes to the amount of my gas bill. It goes to the amount of my utilities that I've had to pay because and my utility bills have gotten higher and higher since July. So that's where my money's been going, to doubled utilities, Mr. Akhtar. And so I do, the selling off of my possessions is piecemeal and haphazard, and I really don't have the money. I really don't. I sold off at $3,500 accounts receivable for less than 50%, for like 1/3 of what it's worth, and let that opponent go, let that debtor go. I don't have the money. So as far as the trafficking case being this that his motion for dismissal granted, all through that hearing, Judge Meacham was saying appeal, appeal, appeal. And um it is systematic corruption in the music industry with powerful people in the city that are supporting what's happening to me. Miss Brammer admitted in a text that it's happening to me. She put me in this house with a broken lock, with a broken security lock. You said it was a good case. Take my damages where I can get unlimited damages. I did. I filed I filed suit, got the motion to dismiss all through the hearing. Meacham saying appeal, appeal, appeal. And that's because Meacham herself is under stress to to dismiss my case. She did. It dawned on me yesterday as to why she was saying appeal, appeal, appeal. It's because she wants me to appeal it. It's because she can tell the venture, I dismissed it. The appeals court told me to hear it. I think that at the trial now, I finally, after 20 years of being an attorney, I finally realized that at the trial court level, it's dirty. But once you get to appellate court, things get a little bit more up and up because the appellate court doesn't want it in writing what they've done. They don't want, the appellate court is not going to want make jurisprudence that says a landlord can put a tenant in a house with a broken lock and have her trafficked, and then when she complains about it to her, say, yep, you're being trafficked, and that be okay. The appellate court is not going, that's horrendous. The trial court might let that happen because nobody's looking at what the trial court's doing. It's dirty. But the appellate court is not going to want that, let that be jurisprudence. And I'm filing my notice of appeal today, and when the appellate court comes back and says to Meacham, hey, no, we're not going to let that ride, Meacham's going to let my case go forward. That's what's going to happen. I don't have the money right now. I am under, my Google verification cannot stay. I do not have a search engine. I do not have ability to pull in clients through a funnel like that. I spent $8,000 on marketing, $2,000 a month on marketing to try to get a client funnel to me. I cannot get it because Google keeps messing with me, will not let my verification stay, and I can't get clients. I am being pushed in through tech and through corrupted landlords. I am being trafficked and pushed into prostitution by the music industry. That's the hallmark. I have a witness who told me, and I'm not going to say the musician's name, but she said, have you ever heard of Jane Doe? That was told to me in 2019 when I went to this witness for help. She was telling me that you are like Jane Doe, a very successful musician here in Austin. You are like Jane Doe and you are on that track. Congratulations. And I'm just, no, I don't want it. But they will not let me go because at this point, I am a darling for misogynists who love to watch someone who does not want to be watched, and they are raking in the money. So they're liking this. They're liking this.
Well, let's get back to the issue. Do you have any additional evidence to show that you're indigent?
I don't have any.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
And the Botox, if you look at that Facebook post, it says Botox scarring.
Mhm.
This right here, this
Uh-huh.
bendy looking thing right here, that is a piece of scar tissue from where the needle went into my head,
Uh-huh.
delivered poison, and killed all the skin around it and made like a little brad of scar tissue, dead skin that I'm trying to work out of my face so the elasticity can return. And This type of plastic surgery, it's new on the horizon. No plastic surgery. You just manipulate the fascia on your face. It works. However, I've got Botox stuff. Botox and fillers severely hinder it because they impede fascial movement. I've got Botox brads in my brow that I'm having to work out. That's what it is. I did not go Botox. I got Botox like 10 years ago.
All right. Okay,
Your Honor, may I make one final rebuttal point based on something she just said?
quickly.
Yes. So again, now she's just testified under oath that she spent $8,000 on Google marketing, $2,000 a month. So she just testified to that under oath. But again, she wants you to believe she's got no money. The poor lady
That
has no money.
$2,000 a month was a year ago.
Well,
And I had, and when, because I had a whole bunch of cases that came with me from my family law, from my employment, because I told these people, hey, I'm working for an employer that tried to get me to steal $7,500 from a potential new client, and I'm leaving him. Do you want to stay there or do you want to come with me? And they all made the informed decision to come with me. So I have that cache of cases that I have been living on. And on those fees, on those fee retainers and that work that I did spend $2,000 a month to keep a law practice running. And that is thrown away money because Google would not let my verification stand. I did not have $2,000 last month to pay Scorpion marketing in order to help me get clients. That's like 8 months ago. I think that was like September 2022 to January of 2022. I got wise in January of 2023 that my Google is never going to verify, and I'm just paying Scorpion $2,000 a month for nothing. Got not one client out of it.
Okay,
That's what
all
Google
right.
did.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Goodwin, for attending and presenting your information. Thank you, Mr. Akhtar, for appearing and presenting your information. Based on the evidence presented, I'm going to grant the affidavit of indigency. The tenant, if she wants to stay in possession of the unit, will continue to be required to pay that monthly rental amount into the registry of the court if she wants to stay in the resident pending the appeal. And any questions about that, we'll have to go to the appellate court because we'll be turning the case over to the appellate court. Thank you again for appearing, and I hope each of you has a pleasant day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
And I'll be sending that case over by end of day today. So y'all will receive an email saying that it's been sent. So yep, just wanted to update y'all.
Thank you very much. Y'all take care.